I do know that we are in Mercury retrograde. Every day I feel like I'm experiencing trauma. And I always told myself, like, if I wasn't married with kids by the time I was 30, that this video is gonna be kind of all over the place. So if you're new and you're kind of lost with what's going on, I don't blame you. But if you are new, this video is going to give you an update on my New York City home buying process and like the truth with what's going on. So if you're interested in that, then stay around. But so yes, I know I have been really MIA since getting back from Paris on giving you guys an update on what the hell is going on with the apartment hunt. And to be honest, it's because I kind of had no idea what was going on my end either. So before I left for Europe, I was looking at apartments in the specific neighborhood that I wanted to buy a studio in. And when this was all going on, interest rates were going up, but I never really like kept up to date with what my payment would be after the rise in interest rates. Like I was just like going to these open houses because this was all happening very quickly. And I started looking at apartments that were a little bit over my like original budget of what I was comfortable spending, because I wanted to just see if other apartments were going to be able to provide like what I needed and stuff. And basically what I realized was like the apartments that I want are definitely way over my budget range of what I can comfortably spend right now. So then I started thinking about it like, okay, so if I'm gonna like pay a little more, then maybe I'll have to move my budget around. And while doing that, I also started looking into what the interest rate would be. So I told my agent to pause looking at apartments while I figured out like the numbers on the back end. And I talked to my loan officer. Sorry if it's like loud. I talked to my loan officer and basically he gave me an estimate of how much it would be with the budget that I wanted to buy a house at. And the amount before the HOA fees, the taxes, the insurance, and all of that, it started being, if not the same amount as my rent, but more than what I was paying for rent. And the whole reason as to why I wanted to originally like buy a place was because I just felt like if I was gonna be paying this much for rent, that I might as well be putting it towards the apartment that I'm gonna have equity on. And so one, I'm not really like thrilled about the apartments that I'm looking at, just because as you guys know, the market's crazy. There's not a lot of inventory, and then the houses that are on the market are way over what they're like worth, in my opinion. And then to add on to that, there's like crazy interest rates, so that's making my payment way more than it needs to be. And after getting back from Paris, I just kind of felt like I did a lot of growing when I was in Europe. I feel like with living in New York, I've kind of gone into this pattern where I'm kind of complacent and I don't feel like I'm growing and I'm not like challenging myself. When I was in Paris, I was constantly like exploring other neighborhoods. I was constantly out doing things. I was getting out of my comfort zone. I started drawing again. I would go out and like dine alone, and those are all things that I can do in New York, I'm sure, but it's not something that I was like, you know, it's not like the energy that I was taking in when I was in New York. And I think I definitely want to embody more of that when I'm here. But I basically, like, you guys like saw my vibe when I was in Paris. Like some of you guys even commented that like I just seem more calm, or I just seem happier in Paris. And when I got back to New York, it just made me really think a lot about like where I want to be and stuff. And like while I really do love New York, it's making me double think if like I want to take that next step and get an apartment and like spend money on buying an apartment. Like once you do that, like it's not like you can just be like, oh, I'm over it, I'm gonna break my lease. Like no, you have to be a renter at least in your co-op for at least 2 years, otherwise you can't like give it out. So I started thinking about that and like what my priorities are, and I just feel like the timing of it just doesn't really make sense. I'm not saying like, no, I'm fully like stopping my search and looking for an apartment right now. Like I told my real estate agent to continue sending me stuff, but it's not something that I'm prioritizing every week now that I'm like, okay, I gotta go move. I think if anything, I'm starting to think about like, is there another city for me, or like am I like really happy here? And I think that's why it's taken me a while to really like upload a video, and I kind of had to take a step back, is because I didn't really know like what to tell you guys. I mean, we had this like series of like this New York apartment hunt, and I feel like I've kind of let you guys down because this is like the ending to it, kind of, in a way. I don't know, I just like feel like right now I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. So this is kind of my update to you guys, that like right now I'm kind of putting a pause on the apartment hunt, at least until I know more of what I want to do. Right now I'm more inspired to want to go travel and explore other cities. I don't think that would be in United States, but I haven't made a decision yet, and this is just me romanticizing and like fantasizing of what could be, but this is just how I feel. I don't know if it's like post-vacation blues. It's right now that I'm filming this, it is May 31st. And I do know that we are in Mercury retrograde until June 3rd. So I'm not trying to make any like big decisions until retrograde is over. I've kind of just like allowed myself the last month to really process all of my feelings and like thoughts about all of this. But I just feel like with New York, it's like I'm starting to get annoyed of like how dirty it is and how crowded it is, and like how like every day I feel like I'm experiencing trauma. Like I'm watching someone like shoot up drugs, or like passed out like with poop on themselves, or like, you know, things that like I guess like when I was like excited about New York, I was a little jaded to. And after traveling to Paris and London and seeing other cities, I'm like, why is it clean there? Or like, why is there not that going on over there? Like, it just makes me wonder, like, maybe instead of making this big decision, like, I should really think things through. And things are changing because more cities are opening up for travel. And I always told myself, like, if I wasn't married with kids by the time I was 30, that I would want to be a digital nomad. I don't know. I don't know what I want. That's basically what the conclusion of this video was. I'm sorry if I disappointed you guys. If you want to still stay around, I would love for you guys to stay around, but that's my update for you guys here. And I'm gonna get off this fire escape because it's like 92 degrees right now and I'm freaking hot. So, bye.